Speech was a big hit. And I know a lot of smart people love crypto. I know some smart people actually have reservations about it.
Sure.
For our audience, can you just kind of make the case for crypto and people who have, concerns and quite frankly don't even understand it? There are a lot of folks out there. I know a lot of people own it, but
yeah, of course. So look, I'm an owner of Bitcoin here, but I'm also the Vice President of the United States. So I want to be careful, but I think the core value proposition of cryptocurrency is that it's a way of transacting and a way of storing value in a modern digital age. Look, 100 years ago, if you wanted to go and buy something, you put a dollar bill on the table, you put a gold coin on the table. The value proposition of Bitcoin is that it can serve the same function, but in a digital age, a way that's secure, that's safer from fraud, that allows people to buy and sell and store value, but in a way that's consistent with the modern technological age that we live in. Now, having said that, I fully accept there are risks to all of these things. There are always risks to new technologies. Our approach in the Trump administration is to say, let people innovate. Let people figure this stuff out on their own. If the critics of Bitcoin are right, I happen to think that they're wrong. That will eventually win out in the marketplace. If the advocates of Bitcoin are right, and I happen to agree with them, if they make their case, that's eventually going to win out in the marketplace. What you shouldn't have is a dictatorial government that tells certain industries they're not allowed to do what they need to do. You've got to let people make these decisions on their own, and that's sort of been our approach. We want common sense regulatory regimes. We want to allow the cryptocurrency industry to participate in the mainstream of the economy. But then ultimately, the laws of economics, the laws of supply and demand are going to make the determinations from there.
The fully diluted Bitcoin count was 21 million. And the significance of that is that means the inflation rate's 0. But the inflation rate on gold is 2%. And the fully diluted gold count is infinite, because if I keep increasing the amount of gold by 2% a year, that's infinite amount of gold. If you want to figure out practically how you value it, well, when you increase the supply of something by 2% a year, that means that you're doubling the supply every 36 years. That means the economic half-life of your money is 36 years. That means the half-life is 36 years. That means you're going to live 70 years. Okay, well, what's the half-life if the inflation rate is 0? Infinity. So what's your life expectancy if the inflation rate is 0? Your life expectancy is infinite. You're immortal. You're living for 1 billion trillion years.
Like that idea.
0 is 1 billion trillion years. You're a god. 2% is you're going to die. Half of you dies in 36 years. The other half dies in the next 36 years. Maybe you make 100 years and you're pretty much done for, right? And so it's the difference between a mortal life of a human being versus economic immortality. We can dismiss it if we just think in the next 12-month time frame. But, if you're an engineer, it's like, well, what's the difference between you lose 2% of your energy every cycle versus you lose none of your energy every cycle? None of your energy every cycle is perpetual motion. You last forever. 2% of your energy every cycle, and you spend it 100 times, there's nothing left, right? You burn out the motor. Okay, so I like the idea of gold, but digital gold is better. And how much better? Infinitely better, right? Infinitely better.
And I've put an enormous amount of personal time, as has Brad Garlinghouse and dozens of others in our industry, Brian Armstrong, and they're heroes in this fight. They represented the industry really well, and the text is in a good state. We just have to get it to a bipartisan state, and there's some horse trading to make that happen. But this means the horrors of Gary Gensler are over the minute that that's done. And now we have new challenges that transcend the body politique of the executive branch in this particular presidency. And, we wish them well and we hope for them well. But I would like to get back to a time where people have depth, people have character, and people legitimately want everyone to succeed.
Now, before we jump into the details, I'm sure you've heard this a few times already, but the XRP is one of the top performing crypto assets that exist out there. We have top 3 in market cap, top 3 in holders count, but also top 10 within the trading volume of all crypto assets that exist. Now, Doppler is, in very simple terms, is a yield vault. We provide a venue for XRP and RLUSD to earn yields. And the best thing is it's all native. So there's no bridging, there's no collateral whatsoever. It's all on XRPL, which makes things much, much safer. Very happy to share this slide as well. This shows essentially where and who our users are. Our users are sticky, loyal, and compounding. And I'm very proud to share that our retention rate is around 80%, with an average holding of over 4.5 months. The recurring deposit rate is 30%. That means over 30% will deposit again within 3 months, which shows that our users love our product. We have a very nice product, and also very happy to be here today, key sponsoring and key contributing to XRP Seoul, because our user base is over 50% in Korea and Japan.